Hello, everybody. It's been a while since I've done this. Frankly speaking, I'm Frank Riker. How are you? See, everybody's here in the chat. We got 11 people watching right now. That's pretty cool. We are live. John is here. Chester is here. Jonathan Ball is here. Janine. Dean Renner is here. What's up, Dean? Jamie Hart is here. Hey, Jamie. Andrew Stevens, of course. What's going on, guys? So, it's been a while since I've done this, but it's good to get back into the swing of things. And I gotta, keep up with Darren because Darren's putting out these. Do you ever hear he's doing these 10-minute tiers now over on Mr. Sandsman? Pretty good, 10 minutes, doing all those tiers. I don't have the patience. I'm glad he's doing it, and I wish him nothing but the best. So, Darren, if you're watching or watching later, congratulations, buddy, on your channel. And I hope it becomes a success. And whatever you want to do. But I know he's not going to do what I want to do. And, right now we've got to talk about grubby little hands. Things I've picked up. I know it's been a while since I've done this, but I'm going to do some of the things I picked up just recently. And those are the comic books, of course. I'm continuing with the Stand Still saga, continuing with that. Still continuing with Space Ghost. I'm interested in Space Ghost. Everyone remembers Space Ghost Coast to Coast, right? Brand new from Dark Horse, and I'm very interested in this. It's called Behemoth. Now, this is about a monster that attacks New York City, kind of like Cloverfield, but swallows a bus of people. And they got to figure out how to get out. So, I mean, if I pick up comic books, just thinking I can make money off of them because they all scream series, like TV series or movies. Of course, Feral, dealing with rabies and cats and animals, but they also do these pretty iconic posters for their covers of their comic books. And then, of course, this one is from Evil Night, Silent Night, Deadly Night. So I picked that up as well. And a few that came free from a comic book I ordered from American Mythology Productions. You get a free Fright Night book from Tom Holland. Not from him personally, but Tom Holland's Fright Night. And Night of the Living Dead. So I'm interested in looking at those. But this next comic book I got is for Darren, because I plan on going to Monster Mania in March, and the guy who played Tarman, Alan, is planning on being there. So I thought I'd get this signed for him. Just came out. The series just came out, I think, in November of last year. Ordered it through American Mythology's website, and I thought I'd get that signed for Darren and ship it over to him. Darren said, hold on to it, and when he comes over here, I can give it to him. But, I just don't. I don't want to just hold on to it, knowing that my kids, and especially my little guy, he is interested in comic books, especially Deadpool and Wolverine right now. Which kid isn't? He is. He's probably going to tear that open if he notices that it's from a movie that we watch. And he's like, "Oh, Frank, everyone's like, how Frank? How can you watch? How can you let him watch Return of the Living Dead?" Easy. I do, because there's a lot more worse things out in the world for him to watch, like the news. And I tell him it's fake, and he laughs at it, and he becomes well adjusted as he gets older. Jonathan Ball says, Frank, I'm not a big comic book person. I'm not a big comic person, but did you ever hear of a brutal comic called Crossed, where people get infections of a red cross on their face and commit brutal violence? Yes, Jonathan, and you know what? I have it. I'm not going to get it up, but maybe next time when I do a live, I'll show you that. It is absolutely brutal. It has actually been optioned by AMC to be a series, kind of like The Walking Dead. But I don't know how they're going to bring it to television. If it's not going to go to television, it's going to go to streaming. That's the only way I could see it. But whatever you can think of, they've done it in that comic book series. Anything, vile, anything, they can't go any further than that. Just think in your mind, what could be the most horrible thing a person could do to somebody? They've done it and topped it. So that's about it. John Jones says the Return of the Living Dead comic is awesome. I need to pick that up. I haven't picked up any new comics, but got a ton of stuff out of storage, including the Man of Steel miniseries and Spawn. Get that stuff out. Now is the time, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not into comic books or into, hey Carl, what's going on? Or not into comic books, but you fancy something that may be in print form, buy it, because soon enough it's going to be worth money. Even if you're not looking to, as a hobby, collect, do it as an investment, because there are comic books that just have came out, maybe like within the past 5 years, that are going for thousands of dollars. And then people always ask me, friends of mine, acquaintances, they say, Frank, how do I know which comic book is valuable? Well, go online, take a look at the prices. Also, I like to get number ones. If there's a first edition of a new series coming out, buy it, because right now it's like $3.99 or maybe tops out at $8.99 if it's a small print. But if you get it at the right time and just sit on it, now everyone's like, "Oh, how long do I have to sit on it?" In this day and age, not long. Maybe a couple years at max, maybe 5, 7. You'll wind up doubling your price. And how much room do comic books take up? But yeah, that's just my opinion. And I'm not the foremost expert on it. Jordan Decker, be careful, buddy. Watching while driving. Wish me luck. If you're going to get into an accident, record it. Those things are big views. No, just be safe. Be safe. Jamie Hart says, yeah, be careful. Jamie says, be careful. Don't be naughty. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I have and wanted to start a new series on this show. I thought that, I was thinking about doing a couple videos and just post them up there like I did with top 50 sci-fis, top 50 horror movies. But then I want to talk to you guys I want to interact with you guys more. it's so I thought about what could I do? I mean, there could always be a tier list, and I'm not really good with tiers. I honestly admit, you can ask Darren this. I really don't really like rankings too much because it can either change so much with the flight of the flight of the day. Also, I don't really can't put much time and effort in it. Plus, a lot of people do them. I know other people like other people's opinions, like seeing where the masks rank for Halloween and everything, but I can't do that. I don't think it's new, and this may not be new either for you guys. But really quick, Brett Patrick says, "Hey Frank, do you have any of the Snake Plissken Chronicle comics from 20 years ago? Highly recommend them. They're pretty affordable. I want to check them out. I'm not really into the Escape." From New York comics or the Snake Plissken comics. I'm not even into Evil Dead right now, which seems to be a big thing. Ash versus the Evil Dead, and I think that's Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. It's so many of those Evil Dead comics that you really just can't. I think there's Ash Forever. I think is another comic that's based on the series. But if I don't start it from the beginning, Brett, I kind of don't buy it just because I want to get into the story. I don't even buy the trade paperbacks. Only certain comic books I will buy trade paperback. So I decided that I would start this new series and probably hopefully do at least one a week of defending bad movies. Now, what's my definition of a bad movie? It has to be a consensus of the majority of the public that thinks these movies are crap. They won't watch them. Some of us may like them. Like this movie that we're going to talk about right now, I absolutely love it. And then the majority of people absolutely hate it. I will defend this movie to my last breath on how good it is. Now, there are some of us that will take a movie that we absolutely hate and just disassemble it, just break it down. I want to break it down on not only why you people think it's either shit or good. I want to break down to why we think it's that way too. I think that these movies deserve a second chance. Now, some person in the I forgot who it was. I think it was Jordan. Said, "Will Jaws: The Revenge make an appearance on defending bad movies?" It will. All right. Now, like I said, these movies are going to be movies that not only that I like, but maybe I hate as well. And I'm going to try to defend them and find maybe there's a little bit of hope that they are actually viewable if we deep dive into these things. So, without further ado, let's talk about this movie. I'm going to do a little slide, a little presentation, because every one of us likes presentations. This first movie that we're going to talk about, I know there's a lot of people that are going to hate it, but maybe a few of you like it. So, Batshit Scary says, because you feel bad for little Judith, Frank? No, I don't. I do. I do feel bad for her. I do feel bad for what happened to her, but no, it's not because of that. It's going to be because I think, just like what Dave would say, making movies is hard, and maybe if sometimes either the studios didn't get involved, maybe if there was more money, maybe if there's just a tweaking of little bit of better writing, it would come out to be a pretty good movie. So let's not knock some of these movies. All right, this first movie, I want to hear when I put it up there, and we're trying to talk about it. I want to hear why you guys think this movie is crap, and then we're going to break down to it. We're going to break down to why we have to give this movie a second chance, and maybe where the writers and directors and producers were trying to get to, but they couldn't. And maybe we could look at it with a third eye and say, you know what? It really isn't bad. Let's defend them. Let's try to defend them. Okay. Try to do it within 45 minutes. Okay. K-Rock. Judith with Alt Frank for the rest of his life. See, my wife knew it. See, when that came out, I really didn't know. I didn't really know she died horribly. And my wife was like, "You didn't know that?" No, I didn't know that. She's like, "You didn't know? You know, the little girl from, oh, what's that dinosaur movie? Littlefoot? What is that movie with the dinosaurs? Oh, the cartoon. Oh, not what is it? Help me out here, ladies and gentlemen. The movie she was in, she voiced the Triceratops, I think. Land Before Time. Just came to me. Land Before Time. Okay, let's start this. All right, here we go. All right, defending bad movies. Now, today's movie is. Can anyone guess before I do this? I'm not going to sit here and wait 2 minutes. Land Before Time. Thanks, guys. Today's movie is. I'll give you guys. Yeah, she did. She voiced the little girl in All Dogs Go to Heaven, too. Today's movie isn't Land Before Time, I can tell you that. So instead of sitting here in suspense, I will reveal it to you guys anyway. So today's movie is Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. We are going to try and defend this movie. Now, it has 30% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, 31% with the audience score. Directed by Stephen Hopkins, starring, of course, Robert Englund and Lisa Cox. Budget of $8 million, made 22 at the U.S. box office. Now, I don't think this is a bad movie. This is one of my top Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I think I rank it number 2 behind the original. Now, everybody is just, even John Jones right here. Exactly. Oh, good one. Dream Child is growing on me. So let's talk about it. So is it after the Dream, is it with the Dream Warriors, which is part 4? When part 4 came out, it wasn't the Dream Warriors. It was, I don't know, Bedwetters. When when Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Hey, Michael, what's going on? When part 4 came out and became a success, they rushed part 5 right away, relatively speaking to the previous movies. And it did have some shoddy script work, and even the director to this day says he can't watch this movie. So, even Jamie Hart says Nightmare on Elm Street 5, great choice. Actually enjoy it. It's cheesy but fun. Batshit Scary says part 5, good thing about it, it's not Freddy's dead. Let's see. It has K-Rock says it has one of the top deaths in this series for sure, but that's about it. Okay. So you have to tell you can't tell me that this ain't a good movie. Now let's look at it. The critics say one of the critics said the puppet baby puppet Freddy, Muppet Baby Freddy is awful. I think he's actually looks terrifying. Now we got to remember he in the opening shot came out of his mother, all slimy and gross, with the nurses and doctor all terrified, still attached to the umbilical cord. And this is a really, really dark gothic movie. It's probably the darkest Freddy's ever been. Now, I know people say part 2 is when he's probably the most darkest. And I say, I don't think so. I don't think it is because he has took over the body of Jesse in this one, in that one. And this one, he's taking over the unborn child of Dan and Alice. How more demented can you be than attacking an unborn child? And plus, this movie is it harks prevention for a teenage pregnancy. When you come down to it, they just graduated high school. So you can think that depending on when this couple was born, Dan and Alice, they could still be underage. They could still be 17. We don't know. I haven't dug in deep enough to know when Alice was born or when Dan was born. And her father is kind of okay with it when she finds out. It's not well well, Michael, technically you're right. Actually, he came out of several fathers, right? If you want to get technical, we don't know who his father is. It's 100 of them. Which let's talk about that opening for a moment. That is a really twisted opening. It's not a Freddy opening. It's a Freddy being conceived opening. And when the first time we really see Robert without his makeup on. You can really get technical if you want to say, well, he's the bus driver in part two. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about him staring into the camera. And you can absolutely see his face without any obscurity. Then you see Alice becoming Amanda Kruger, being left there and being assaulted, not assaulted in the technical sense that we see it, but we get the picture because we learned about it from part 3. What a way to start a movie. Seeing how Freddy was created. And Alice right now is blocking everything out of Freddy. She's not dreaming about him. She's not thinking about him. She's not talking about him because she has gotten the power not only just from Kristen, but from what she has from her own experiences going to dream worlds and fighting Freddy. She is stopping Freddy from actually coming back into the dream world, but she never thought she would get pregnant in the unborn child. Of course, as we all know, if you have kids, kids that are in the womb are always experiencing REM. They're always in a dream state. It's been proven. So what better way for Freddy to come back than being constantly dreamt about in an unborn child? It's actually I think that script right there is fascinating. And Freddy is not trying to hurt Jacob in other way. He's feeding him souls from his victims in order to keep him going. And he probably if he wants to, I think, does he want to be reborn again? Because that would have been a great tale. That would have been a great ending if we didn't get Ugly Jacob. If we didn't get Ugly Jacob, we've gotten Freddy starting out as a kid and then growing up again. But that would take too long. I understand that. Don't start, Michael. So let's also look at the death. So I think the concept of the movie is fairly good. Plus, it was supposed to be dark and gothic, which we do get. We get when Mark was killed in the warehouse. There's a lot of blues, a lot of coldness. But the kills, I think, was for some people is what takes away from this movie because there's only 3. But these are some of the best kills in this franchise until the MPAA got to them. Now, if you watch the uncut versions of these, except for Mark's is pretty tame, of course. But again, he's a comic book guy, and he gets killed like he was paper mache and bleeds ink. It's pretty ingenious when you come to think about it. And Dan and um, Yvonne, no, it's not Yvonne, Greta. Dan and Greta's deaths, the best, the best, hands down throughout the series. Now, Dan's death was pretty tamed in the theater, but still you can feel the pain and you can imagine what he's going through. And if you watch the uncut version, which you can watch on YouTube and anywhere else, I think it might be on the disc, the collection. Uh, you see all those gears, tubes, wires going into his hands, going into his calf muscle, pulling his stem up and burning him. It's absolutely terrifying and painful to watch. And then, of course, Greta is being fed herself. Of course, they block it because you see, just blood on her stomach, and that's about it. But whoever thought about this was completely was ingenious. It was an ingenious way to get people talking about the deaths, get people to get a little grossed out by them. I think that this movie deserves a lot more credit. Freddie dying, of course. A lot of people get a little really quick. A lot of people get turned off by his arm. Uh, his one arm is longer than the rest of his body. He kind of has bony feet when he comes back in the dream world. I say that is okay because he's just filling in his body. He's just trying to get back to normal. As you know, when we were born, most of us were kind of distorted. Our legs are shorter, our arms are longer. Our head is a lot smaller. Actually, our head is bigger, and the shoulders are smaller. It's really he's just really growing into his body, which I think that's what they were trying to do. They're trying to tell you that he's using Jacob to get back into the world and hence has to be reborn like him. So he had to have Jacob dream up his mother and then give birth to him. I think it's absolutely a sick way of exploring a horror movie and origins of a monster, because what other thing disgusts us, not besides death, is birth. Birth is absolutely vile. It could be the most beautiful. Now, I don't want to say people out there who people are going to quote me on that. Frank says birth is vile. Well, if you come to think about it, the act of giving birth is vile. It's dirty. It's messy. It's sick. It's dealing with things that you don't want to see. I've seen my kids born twice. All right. For me, seeing my kids born is a beautiful experience. But seeing them covered in, bodily fluids and everything that comes out of it could be vile for some people. It could be sickening, especially if it's somebody like Freddy Krueger, who's probably not the most quietest and gentle of babies to come out. So the act of actually him going back in to Amanda and her actually holding him captive, I would have changed that a little bit. I think Alice should have gone up to Amanda, should have gone up to Freddie and just stepped on his head, or maybe that's just a little bit demented. But I want to see. I thought this movie was actually okay. I'd rather see the kills be brought back on screen, unedited. I'd rather have seen that, but the MPAA, is a bunch of morons that they don't think we can handle it. I have to say, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child, does not deserve the hate that it gets. If you deep down dive at the influences, the darkness, the way Freddy was brought back, it's kind of ingenious. It's trying to take us like again, as I'm talking about. But I want to see what you guys think about is thinking about Nightmare on Elm Street 5. And I want to hear if you guys like him or if you dislike it. And if you dislike it, I want to see if I could talk to you about it. And if you like it, very good. Let's see here. Who do we have? Hey, guys, we have Ronnie. All the Good Names Are Taken podcast. Is this a new recording room, Frank? Yes, it is. Let's get him off of there. Dean Renner says, it's one of those ideas that sounds incredible on paper, and then we see the execution, and it's not as good as it sounds on paper. Huh. Well, it's all about the execution, isn't it? So I think a lot of this, not only the studio, but the MPAA had a lot of hand in saying, you can't show that. You can't show this. Now, Steven actually had some great ideas. That's what made Robert Englund come back. Is I want to make it gothic. I want to make it dark. This is the way, Freddy's being reborn again. And Robert said having him without any makeup on for a few moments with that camera that is in the air, which hasn't been used before, was still in its infancy of being used, like a crane camera. He thought that was fantastic. He's like, sign me up. Plus, I think he needed the money anyway. Let's see here. Bobby Hall says, I think Elm Street 5 is a decent sequel. It had a cool concept, but there were some nice creative sequences, like when Mark gets killed as a comic book character. I agree. I was just talking about that. Absolutely. How many more times do we have to see Freddy stab somebody with his knives, with his glove? Like Kincaid, bend him over and stab him. Do the thing with Joey, in the just kill him. How many times do we have to see somebody die in a bed? We saw, who was it? Was it 1, 2, 3? Was it 3 deaths in the bed? I mean, how much more can you go? Actually, okay, if you want to count Kincaid, there's actually 4. But people are dying in the bed anyway because that's where they're sleeping. Chad the Ball says, Nightmare on Elm Street 5 birth control movie, especially the guy shooting the Ari. Jesus. Let's see what David says. David Diggs, ladies and gentlemen, says, as the Nightmare on Elm Street movies progressed in the series, Freddy became too much about delivering one-liners. Part 1 and Part 2, some of Dream Warriors were Freddy at his scariest. I agree. Freddy should have maybe not said too much. He was great with his quips, maybe a little bit in 1 and 2. But as he got talking more and laughed more and made wisecracks, he became a doll that goes on your nightstand. He became, stickers. He became action figures. He became Matchbox vans of him driving outside of them. He became Halloween costumes. But again, then at this point, he should not have been scary to anybody. How long can you keep a series being scary? I mean, right now, if you look at the Saw franchise, we were just interested in the traps. We're not interested in the characters. By no means. Same thing with Scream. We're not interested in the kill so much. We're not interested in Sydney. Let's be honest. We are not. We're not interested in Sydney. We're not interested in Gail anymore. We weren't interested in Dewey. We were interested in who did it. That's all we were interested in. With Michael, we just want to see him. He doesn't talk. He doesn't run. We just want to see him kill. He's probably the only one that has kept consistent over the years. And then Leatherface has gone so far over to where he started in some of the movies that, it's hard to keep up. It just is becoming, dark crap. Even though I like some of the new stuff. I think the newer movie that came out was okay. And then Chucky is just becoming cute. He's got a series on. He's not scary for us. There's multiple Chuckies with multiple personalities. You kind of like run out of ideas. So let's take it. Let's see what Dean here is saying. MPA handcuffs definitely pose an issue. Yeah, yeah. I don't think. I think we'd be able to show that stuff now, because there's a lot more stuff coming out in movies. Jonathan Ball says one reason why I dislike Nightmare 4 and 5, they mostly felt like the same movie, just smaller story points changing. Both movies had almost had the exact same friends, just like a carbon copy. And you know what? I see that, but we always got to have our protagonist. You know, there's always got to be Nancy. She died. There's always got to be a Kristen. She died. I think Alice is the only one that actually survived two movies. Yeah, besides Freddy. Um, there's that. Let's see. Jordan Decker says, I like to know if Freddy keeps the glove on or takes it off when he wanks. I think he uses the other hand. I think he keeps it on. Jesus. Bobby Hall says, good idea for a video, Frank. Rank all the bad deaths in the Elm Street series. I think I want to do that with Darren. You know, because he'd probably be like, I don't want to do that. That's ridiculous. He'll say, okay, fine, I'll do it. Ranking the bed deaths of Nightmare on Elm Street. What else? Let's see. David Diggs, you know, I agree with you about Scream. Ah, it's awful. You know, oh, I can make another video. But what I will not do, because I can't defend it, because I think it's awful. I can't do the Scream franchise. I can't pick one. You will never see me do that. I will do a Halloween one. I will do a Nightmare on Elm Street, not Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th one. I will take, maybe I'll do a poll on the Slaughter Lamb and see which one you guys want me to do next and try to defend it. And then you guys can add in your other ones. I don't know. George says he became a cash cow. Absolutely, absolutely. There are so much Freddy memorabilia and swag that you could fill an entire room, and a lot of it will be falling out of your windows. There's so much besides the physical media, DVDs, VHSs, Laserdisc, you know, CDs, anything that you have to put in to watch. The posters, the dolls, the cardboard cutouts, the advertisements, the news articles. If you were looking at that stuff, if you're actually die-hard collector of Nightmare on Elm Street, you got the stuff from multiple countries when Freddy became very popular. Also, I think it had a big studio behind him, dishing out a whole bunch of money. You went to go see Freddy for a movie. You went to see him as soon as you knew a movie was coming out that was Nightmare on Elm Street. You were going to go see it, or at least rent it when it came out. My kids, I have a doll in my storage closet that I got from a shopping center next to Easter candy, and the doll was on sale for like 50% off because it was supposed to be with the Halloween merchandise. Now, let me know if you guys ever saw this. If you press his hand, it talks and walks across the table or a flat surface. It says, you know, you can never escape Freddy, or, you know, you're in my dreams, Freddy. And it's actually quite cute. So, Michael Damon says, I love the first season of Chucky. Didn't even finish the second. Yeah, the first season was pretty good. I'm getting kind of tired of seeing what's his name, Devon Sawa, in it. I seen him and met him. Not like met him face to face or anything like that. But I don't know if he comes off as a pretty rude guy. So I kind of don't want to see him in anything else. That's how I feel about him. The Chucky series I'm still watching. I'm actually kind of glad, Michael, if you agree with me that it's actually ending. Because how much more can I take? How much more can any of us take? Hey, Vanderhoff, what's up? Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Hump Day. Let's see what else do we have here. Chester says the only thing I dislike about Elm Street 5 is the kills. It should have been unedited. Again, you're absolutely right, Chester. You can't not knock that. You can not knock that movie for what the MPAA has done. If you leave it alone, unedited, I bet you at least 25% of the audience would like it. There's only been 3 deaths. Now, I think this is the only movie that has that many deaths. No, the first one only had 3, right? Yeah. Well, no, 4. Try to think of which one had the least amount of deaths. 2, 3, 6. I think Freddy's Dead. I think Freddy's Dead is tied along with this one. John Jones says, hell, my wife has a Freddy day planner and kitchen utensils that look like his glove. I have, no lie, you know these crate boxes that you can get with like horror subscriptions? I have Freddy glove chopsticks. Freddy glove chopsticks. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. You know, it's got a little burnt hand at the end and it has 2 long fingers, and you eat Chinese food with it or whatever. I don't know. David Diggs says, do you prefer the antagonist to be silent, Michael, Collector, Art, Leatherface, or vocal, like Chucky, Ghostface, or Pinhead? You know what, David? I guess it depends on the movie. Michael should never talk. Leatherface mumbles, kind of. Art the Clown, stay with that, because, you know, with Art the Clown, clowns are not supposed to talk anyway. You know, they're supposed to just make little gestures, hand gestures. Stay that way. Chucky deserves to have a voice. Pinhead, of course, him being a demon, should have a voice. So it depends. It depends. I think the majority of the good films that have come out, they haven't spoke. So that might be your answer. John says, I bought my wife that doll for Christmas. It's on our DVD rack. Oh, yeah. One thing I think the producers talked about, the whole aspect of Freddy being a child molester and a child killer faded away because you can't market pets. You can't. Now it's brought up into part 4. Part 4, they mentioned it. They said, what was his name? The brother. Is it Mark again? How many Marks were in this thing? No, it wasn't Mark. Whatever his name is. Karate brother. He says he just walks around. He's all gloomy. He's like, he was a child murderer. There's his house. You know, it's like they don't care. I don't think they mentioned it anymore after that. Let's see here. That Freddy head sounds like it could make a good, better toy. Oh, God. Stop it. Have you looked up the series Nosferatu yet, Frank? I've seen bits and pieces of it, Michael. I know it's Zachary Quinto. It looks like it's right up my alley because kind of like I like Storm of the Century. And I know it deals with a vampire. I haven't seen a full episode, but maybe I'll get into it. Dean says, rumor has it when the 4K collection comes out later this year, a lot of them might have uncut versions of it, uncut versions included. I hope so. Michael says, rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Chester says, Elm Street 5 has 3 deaths, the least movie deaths in that series. Yeah. I think there was one more, Chester. I think it's one. Is it a part 6? Freddy's Dead has them too. It has John Doe, Carlos, and Spencer. That's it. So it's a tie, right? Right? Frank, have you seen this awesome series come back in the day? True Calling is a TV series about a medical student who works in a morgue and can relive a day to prevent deaths. Yeah, was that with? I know who you're talking about. Is that with Eliza Doshku? Is that her? I gotta. I haven't seen it in a long, long time. Yeah, yeah, I haven't seen it in a while time, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have on trying to make Dream Child at least a good movie to watch. I think it deserves a lot more credit than that, than what people are giving it. A lot of people are just saying, the kills are stupid. It's sloppy writing. It's the Muppet Baby Freddy is laughable. It's too short. It's at 90 minutes. Freddy is just a big carnival barker in this one. I think he's not as bad as part 6. I'll try to defend that. But that's what I got. I think this movie needs to be looked at. I think we need to appreciate it more for what it was intended to be. Again, a lot of people say, well, if they intended to make a good movie, they would have made a good movie. But look at what the MPAA has done to this film. So, hey, my Chucky Jordy, what's going on? I'm about to wrap it up right here because I got kids coming home soon. But yeah, I want to do more of this if you guys want me to. I'll put a poll up there on a Slaughterland. But yeah, it's a nice little short episode. I know everybody's busy, and we all got stuff to do. But yeah, it's been fun. So yeah, take a look at Nightmare on Elm Street 5. You don't have to. Think about it. Let me know if your opinion hasn't been swayed. But think about it this way: they went dark. They went to touch upon teen pregnancy, how bad it could be. Freddy being born and feeding souls to an unborn baby who is in constant REM sleep. Alice is, she is defenseless. She only has a little bit of power because she's protecting Jacob, her baby, with probably the rest of the power that she has. So it's good. I'm glad he made it home alive. Sure did. But yeah, just take a look at it again and let me know. But yeah, it's going to be, this was a quick episode. I wanted to get back to the swing of things, and then maybe I'll do another one next week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it. No, fancy outro, no bells and whistles, just frankly speaking. I'll catch you soon. Bye.